सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। तत्त्वमसीति अहं ब्रह्मास्मीति वाक्यार्थविचारः श्रवणं भवति। श्रवणमनननिर्विचिकित्से अर्थे वस्तुनि एकतानवत्तया चेतस्थापनं निदिध्यासनं भवति। एकान्तेन श्रवणार्थानुसन्धानं मननं भवति। So we were looking at the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. They are the Sakshat Karana, Jnana Karanam. That is why when discussing the Mahavakya, here again Yajnavalkya only said the same thing in the Brihadaranyaka also. Atma va hare drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Like that. This Atma has to be seen, it has to be heard. In simple English, you can say it has to be reflected upon, it has to be meditated upon, or it has to be recollected all the time. This is in the Maitreyi Brahmana, in the Brihadaranyaka, where his wife, so Yajnavalkya had two wives. And then at one point in time, he was also very wealthy. Why? Because Janaka kept on giving him cows. In the Brihadaranyaka itself, in many places, Janaka says, I'll give you 1,000 cows, I'll give you 1,000 cows. For every question of Janaka which Yajnavalkya answers, he gets 1,000 cows. And even in another section, he not only gets 1,000 cows, but the cows also have gold tied to their horns. Okay, so he also had, that means he had thousands of cows. In those days, that is the wealth, correct? And also even gold and all that. So he was a very wealthy Acharya. Okay. But he decided to take sannyasa. And then he had two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. And to Katyayani and Maitreyi, he said that I will divide all my wealth into equal half and I will give it to you. So Katyayani was happy with all the wealth. Maitreyi asked a question, what? Will I get immortality, amritatvam, with all this wealth? Then Yajnavalkya said, Vidyena naiva asha. There is no hope. There is no way you are going to get immortality with all this wealth. Then she asked him, why don't you now teach me? What is this amritatvam? I am not interested in all this wealth. So in fact, this is even quoted as an example of mumukshutvam. That Maitreyi had the mumukshutvam. And she also realized that whatever wealth she may get, that's not going to give her immortality or the limitlessness or freedom from all limitations which everybody is really seeking. Then he teaches. Okay, so in that way that Atma, Are and all is there. Are also is, oh my dear, like that. Atma, Are, Drashtavyaha, he says. Atma has to be seen. The reality of Atma, oneself, has to be known. That is the only thing which will give you moksha. So here also the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana are talked about very clearly. First we should know what the Shastra is revealing about us, because our own idea about ourselves is the problem. All the problems which we face are because we have wrong identification. The self-identification itself is wrong. So that has to be corrected. And how do we correct it? You have no way of correcting it yourself. Even though you may do some meditation for hundreds of years, here we are talking about the Swarupa of the meditator. Understand that. You are not going to know it by learning about the entire universe also. It's all only objective knowledge. Here we are talking about the very nature of the subject, which is not available for perception or inference. And it is also not, you cannot also just discover it like any objective knowledge, because it is hidden within the subject. Understand that the very seeking itself becomes a problem, because the seeker and the sought are one and the same. That's why we require Shruti here. Unless you know what Shruti is revealing about yourself, first you have to know that. That is what is called Shravanam. So what is the vision of Shastra? What does the Shastra say about Atma, about yourself? That you have to know. Then you know what the Pramana is revealing, correct? The Pramana Asambhavana is gone then. But still you may have doubts, you may have vagueness, it may not be clear. That is why Mananam is also important. Mananam is the one where you gain clarity and you remove vagueness and all the doubts also by using supporting logic. And also you use logic to negate all other claims, because there are so many other darshanas. There are people out to confuse you. Even those who call themselves Vedantins also, they are out to confuse people. There are so many confused people who think they themselves are gurus also. That is a problem, another problem. Anybody can claim I am a guru. But one thing you have to see is whether that person had a guru or not. Unless that person himself or herself had a guru, you should be very careful. Apne aap means it is a problem in this. Understand that. So, you have to have clarity, and therefore whatever the Shastra says first you should know properly, and then that also you should know clearly without any doubts and any vagueness. Even after all these things, as I said, like for any knowledge, habitual tendencies are a problem. Even though you have clear knowledge, that knowledge may not be available to you when you want it. It's not a question of not knowing, or even it's not a question of clarity of knowledge. Even though you have clear knowledge, it may not be available to you, or the jnana phalam you may not enjoy because of that. Yeah.
When you have clear knowledge, automatically it becomes.
It's not automatic. Let us say a simple thing I'll tell you. That's why I'm saying conscious knowledge is not enough. Because most of the human tendencies are subconscious or from unconscious it is coming. So you know very clearly you have to go to mandir, let us say, in the weekend. Saturday, you want to go to the mandir. But 5 days of the week where you are going to office. Now you go in the car. Many of you may have faced it, what? You may go your regular route. Even though you have very clear knowledge that where you want to go, etc. But it's not available to you. Because the habitual tendency can be very powerful. It can overtake, and it will subconsciously you will go somewhere else. Or many times we know exactly what we want to do, but at the correct moment you go to the market. 10 times somebody would have told you have to buy this. But that may be something new or not normal, correct? You will go, whatever you do, generally you will do that and come back. It's not that there is a lack of knowledge, understand that. Our clarity is lacking. Even after Samyak Jnanam is there, since the habitual and particularly the Prarabdha Karma is Baliyat, like Bhashakara himself says that in the Vridaranика Bhashya. So you have to have Tyaga Vairagyadi Sadhana, you have to do, he says. So that is where again assimilation is important. Not only you know clearly, you have to assimilate it so that it transforms you. The self-transformation is the goal here, because the problem is one of self-identification. The problem is centered on you. Solution also has to be centered on you. But since it is centered on you, the solution has to transform you. Otherwise you are still remaining the same person. That doesn't help. So the Shastra Pramana Vyapara has to transform you. That Pramana Vyapara itself is taking place in all these manner. Understand? In Shravanam also you are listening to whatever Shastra says about you. In Mananam also you are trying to understand clearly without any doubt and vagueness whatever Shastra is telling about you. In Nididhyasnam also you are only recollecting again and again whatever the Shastra is revealing to you. So all three are only pramana, vyapara. Whether all three are required for all, that we cannot say. It depends on your qualification, how well you are prepared for this knowledge. But in general, we can say 99% of people require all three. So we don't have to argue with anybody. Like I said, even there are differences of opinion, whether Shravanam is important, Nididhyasanam is important and all that, but even there you don't have to spend too much time and all that. Okay? All three are required, that's it. You do all three, then only you get the knowledge. So this is where I think we were yesterday. Now we'll continue. Dhyatra dhyane vihaya nivatasthita deepavat deepavat okay dhyeka gocharam chittam samadhihi bhavati. Okay, now the samadhi yoga is being talked about, or samadhi itself. So what he is saying here, like I said, even though you have clear knowledge about what the Shastra is revealing, the habitual tendency is to take yourself as a human being, or identification with the body, mind, sense complex. So that is very powerful, understand that, because that is coming, as I said, not only in this Janma, it is coming Janmantara also. So it is, samskaras are there and it requires effort. Nobody can belittle that, understand that. So one of the methods, what already I said, if you have already done a lot of upasana and dhyana and all that, and you have chitta naischalyam also. This is where yesterday I was talking about both chitta shuddhi and chitta naischalyam. But like I said, most people come to Vedanta, then only chitta shuddhi and chitta naischalyam also has to grow, correct? As you study the Shastra, you also become prepared, you also become more and more qualified to receive this knowledge. Now it is not like first everybody is gaining the qualification and then only they are coming. It is all the things are happening together somewhat. So this chitta naischalyam part is particularly a problem. Okay? Particularly for those who are coming late. Those who have not done enough nitya karma or upasana already, correct, or some kind of a sadhana already, for them it can be a problem, because as you become older also, all sorts of problems are there. You are not only able to sit. Whenever you sit, something is paining in the body, means you are attached, whatever attention is only on that, correct? Then how are you going to focus on the Atma Swarupa? So anything which is happening in your body also, since you are so connected to that, your attention is being drawn there. And your identity also is drawn there. You think that I am in pain, all that, then it is a problem. So that's why this is required. And what here Yajnavalkya is saying, Dhyatra dhyane vihaya, means here that I am a meditator, even that has to go away. That I am doing dhyana, that I am doing an action, that also has to go away. Dhyatra and dhyana, you have to give up that idea that I am the one who is doing dhyana. And then what? Nivatastita deepavat. So this nivatastita deepa is taken in Gita also from here. Yada deepo nivatastaha hingate sopama sprita yogino yata chittasya yujate yogamatmanaha. Like that. Yada deepaha nivatastaha means like ni vata. Vata means basically wind or air. Nivata means without any wind. So like even the deepa is glowing but without any flicker or anything. Correct? Normally mind is equated to flickering mind. A flickering deepa or lamp. So flickering lamp means it is going all over the place, the light also. But here, like this lamp, the deepa, the flame is without flickering because there is no wind or anything. But in fact, in the Kalahasti we say Kalahasti is the Vayu Sthala, correct? Interesting thing is there, how do they represent Ishvara as Vayu? I said for Dakshinamurti is wearing the bandana, correct? In Kalahasti it is the deepa. They keep a deepa within the Garbhagraha Within the Garbhagriha, there is not supposed to be any wind. Right? It is somewhat very much inside the temple. But there, the Deepa is all the time flickering, showing that Bhagavan is the Vayu there. Bhagavan is there as the Vayu. So anyway, coming back here, Nivata means without any wind, the Deepa is there. Like that, your mind has to be established only in the Atma Swarupa. Whatever is being revealed by the Veda, in that only your mind has to be focused on all the time. That is what he is saying. Dhyeka gocharam. So whatever is to be known, here whatever is to be known also is yourself. But whatever is to be known is coming from the Shastra here. So whatever the Shastra is revealing about you, you focus only on that. Dhyeka gocharam. Chittam samadhihi bhavati. So a mind which is only focusing on the Atma Swarupa as revealed by the Shastra, then it is in Samadhi. In fact, Bhashyakara gives many different meanings for Samadhi. Samadhiyate yasmin iti. Atma itself is called Samadhi in one place. In the Gita, he says, into which everything resolves. That is Samadhi. In fact, that is yourself, correct? Because if you see, each and every cognition is born in the Chaitanyam, which is you. It is sustained by the Chaitanyam, which is you. It resolves back into the Chaitanyam, which is you. Even when the cognition is gone, you are there, correct? As the Chaitanya, as the being who is conscious, you are there. And in you only any thought rises or any cognition happens. By you only it is sustained, however transitory it is. And into you it goes back, and that Swarupa is me. So what Pujya Swamiji used to say is, because many people talk about Nirvikalpa Samadhi and all that, but more important is to know that Aham Nirvikalpaha. Aham Nirvikalpaha. My Swarupa is without any Vikalpa or any kind of separation or division. Nothing is there. That is the Akhanda we say. Akhandakara Vritti means knowing oneself as the whole, partless whole. I am always the partless whole. This also I talked about before. See, in your own understanding of yourself, I is always a partless whole. Understand that? Because we do, even though we have identification with body, mind, sense complex and all that, but we never take the I as some fractional I or anything, because one leg is gone, or even if one finger is gone, you cannot say I am only 95% of me. It's not like that. Understand that I is always is the Spuranam. Aham iti Spuranam. Whatever you cognize, the self-reflection which is there, self-consciousness, it is always as a partless whole alone. There is no part in myself. Whatever I cognize about myself, that partless whole is your reality. Anything else is all not really even connected to you. It is all only adhyastha, or it's only an appearance. That has to be very clear. So aham nirvikalpaha. Even though there may be thoughts, each and every thought also is not separate from the consciousness. So for us, thought itself is not a problem. Understand that. Identification with the thought is the problem. Or taking the thought as some separate reality is a problem. Like waves themselves are not a problem in the ocean. Understand that. Because we cannot say only when the waves stop, I can understand ocean is water or wave is water. You cannot say that, correct? Although when it is very rough and all that, so many bubbles and other things are there, it may not be easy to appreciate that wave is water, ocean is water and all that, let us say, for argument's sake. So like that, there is a requirement for a certain disposition of your mind, understand that. But what we say is that only if I still the mind completely, I can appreciate whatever the Shruti is revealing about me. That is not what we are saying. You should still have a mind which is focused on whatever is the teaching here, and you should be able to retain it all the time. That is the goal here. And for that, whatever is required, you have to do. And even Nirvikalpa Samadhi and all is like sleep only, in the sense that you cannot decide that you are entering into it right now. Understand that. Even in the Ashtanga Yoga, one Anga is Samadhi, correct? But that Samadhi is not Of course, the Yoga Darshana has their own terminology. They talk about some Samprajnata Samadhi, Asamprajnata. This Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa is not even Yoga term. Understand that. Yoga Darshana's terms are all different. But the Vedanta Acharyas also talk about Samadhi. We only talk about Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. So even in our understanding of Ashtanga Yoga, Savikalpa Samadhi is the Anga. The Ashtangas we talk about are important. Yama Niyama, Asana Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi we say. These are all important. They are all, we recognize that as a sadhana, either as a prerequisite or even after having jnanam as a tool for assimilation. But in all these things, for a Vedantin, we never lose sight of what the Shastra has revealed to us. Understand? That is the most important. Yoga Darshana, they don't care about all that. They just say, still the mind. But we are not saying that. We are saying, you recollect all the time whatever the Shastra has taught you or whatever the Shastra is revealing to you. Hold on to that. That is more important to us. And even in the Ashtanga, the Savikalpa Samadhi is what we are aiming for. The Nirvikalpa has to happen. That is called Angi. So according to us, these 8 Angas you take care of, then Nirvikalpa Samadhi can happen or it need not happen also. That's a different thing. It is like you prepare very well to go to sleep, correct? But you can never consciously go to sleep. Sleep has to happen. Like that, even whatever we say Nirvikalpa Samadhi and all that, it has to happen. But for that you can prepare. And it is a useful thing. So that's why it is said here, the Samadhi Bhavati. So in the Samadhi, what happens then? How is it helpful? So that also is said here. Tadanim Atma Gochara Vrittayaha Samuttitaha Ajnata Bhavanti. So what is said in the tradition is that in Samadhi again it is like sleep, correct? There is no subject-object division. But still, till the time you went into the Samadhi, what was the vritti in your mind? That is whatever is said by the Shastra only, correct? Akhandakara vritti only is leading you into Samadhi. So that's why they are saying at that time, Tadanim Atma Gochara Vrittaya. Whatever was revealing to you your true Swarupa, the Atma Swarupa, those vrittis, the Akhandakara vritti only, they rise there. But when it is happening, you are not able to cognize it because there is no subject-object division. That's why it is called Ajnata Bhavanti, it is said here. Okay? They are Samuttita means they are there, but you cannot know it because there is no subject-object division. Therefore, then further what happens? Taha Smaranat Anuniyate Anuniyante.
Smaranat Anuniyante.
So it is also like you get up and say I slept well, correct? So even for deep sleep, that is why we say there is a Ananda Vritti or a Shanta Vritti is there while you are sleeping. But that you cannot, at that time you cannot cognize because there is no subject-object division in deep sleep. But you can get up and say whether you slept well or you did not sleep well and all you are able to say, correct? So that even Bhashya Shankara also says that, correct? Yaf pratyabhijna yate and all that. Whatever you, pratyabhijna means what? You recollect. You get up and say, I did not know anything but I slept well. Something like that. Similarly here also, since you went into the Samadhi with the particular vritti, then that vritti even becomes stronger in Samadhi, but you can talk about it after coming out from that. So that Smaranad Anumiyante. So you know it by the whatever, how you remember about that experience. Okay. Iha anadi samsare sanchitaha karma kotayaha anenaiva vilayam yanti. So here now the Samadhi is praised, okay, as a favorable experience for you to assimilate this knowledge. So in this context, in fact, some of these things will exactly come in Panchadashi chapter 1 also. So now only we realize that these two texts are having lot of commonality. Most probably Vidyaranya has taken many things from here and he has presented it in the form of verses there. So some of this praise of this samadhi also is there in the chapter 1 of Panchadashi itself. Similar things. So even here it is said what anadi samsare, and whatever you have collected, so much karma you have collected. What is said here is the samadhi helps you to get rid of all those samskaras. Because the samskaras are the pratibandhakas, correct? They are the hindrances, or they are the ones which we call as habitual tendency. The habitual tendencies are there because of prior impressions which are there. So what here the samadhi is praised for is what? It will get rid of all those samskaras so that you are free from your habitual tendency, so that you have now whatever the Shastra is revealing, that becomes your sahaja, or that becomes your very nature. You don't fall back into the samskaras, which are actually only making you a samsari, correct? Which are only making you take yourself as this body, mind, sense complex and get back into a limited vision of yourself. That should not happen. So samadhi helps you for that. Okay, so that is why that karma kotayaha here means literally crores of whatever karma he is saying, countless. Okay, by the samadhi only vilayam yanti means what? They are all resolved. So the samadhi helps you to resolve all these samskaras and gain a certain what do we say, the nishtha in this jnana. That is the jnana nishtha we say. So that is why even in the tradition we talk about jnanam and jnana nishtha. Jnanam is again you have samyak jnanam or clear knowledge, like I said, but clear knowledge need not transform you completely or need not make you free from your habitual tendencies straight away. That requires effort. That is the effort we are talking about. Once you make this effort, then what you have, when you have jnana nishtha means nobody can shake you from that, or no samskara or any other whatever is happening in the surrounding also should not be able to shake you or make you go back into whatever the previous vritti which was there. That's why this jnana nishtha we say. You are well established in that knowledge. So once this vilayam, these are all these samskaras are resolved. Then what? Tataha abhyasa patavat sahasrashaha sada amrita dhara varshati. So in this samadhi itself, what? Because of the abhyasa, whatever, because like I said, even before you went into the samadhi, you are repeating only whatever the Shastra has revealed about you, correct? Basically it is a nididhyasanam of the Shastra Vakya. So that abhyasa patavat means what? Patavaha, pramana patavaha and all that means expertise or perfection and all that you can give in English. So basically you have so much expertise in this sadhana. Okay, so sahasrashaha means thousands, and also all the time amrita dhara varshati means this immortality is now basically it is like it is raining. Immortality means what? Basically you are now very well established in this vision that you can never be now shaken out of it. You are immersed in that. You are so much immersed in that. Varshati here means basically it is raining means you are immersed in the vision of the Shastra. It helps you to immerse yourself into that, and since it is Amrita, you cannot drown also, understand that. You can be immersed in that and enjoy. So, this is Amrita Dhara Varshati. And further what? Tataha Yogavid Tamaha Samadhim Dharma Megham Prahu. So, thereafter what? Those who know about this yoga, this samadhi yoga, yoga with tamaha means those who are all really the varishta, the greatest people, those who know about this yoga in the best manner. Okay, yoga with tamaha, they call this samadhi as dharma megha. So that is another terminology. The samadhi itself is called dharma megham prahu. And further what? Vasana jale Nishesham amuna Pravilapite Karma Sanchaye Punya Pape Samula Unmulite Prak Parokshamapi Karatala Amalakavate Vakyam Apratibadha Aparoksha Sakshatkaram Prasuyate. Okay. So this Vasana Jala, all this Vasana itself is like a net which is holding on to you, correct? Which is limiting you. That's why it is called a Jala. Sometimes we say Indra Jala and all that, correct? The Maya itself is called Indra Jala. It is like a Jala only really, in the sense that it is like a net which is constraining you, which is what is basically keeping you bound. But what happens here? Nishesham Amuna Pravilapite. So by whatever the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana which you have done, the Samadhi, Sadhana which you have done, by that what happens? This entire Jala, this net which is your own Purva Samskara and Vasana, they are all Pravilapite, means they are dissolved or they are all destroyed. They are no more there right now. And how? Completely. Nishesham, means without any baki. Correct? Nothing is left, without anything being left over. It's completely gone. And also what? Even all the Sanchita karma. Okay? Karma Sanchaya means whatever karma you have accumulated till that point, which are in the form of Punya and Papa. Correct? Punya Papa. Again, this is not only Papa. For a Jnani, even Punya is equally a problem, because you are not a Karta. So it's not that you only want to get rid of Papa. That is, the Samsari only wants to do some Prayasita and get rid of the Papa. For a Jnani, both Punya and Papa are equally Anishta only. It's not something Ishta. So, Punya Pape Samula Unmulite means what? They are all gone along with their cause. What is the cause of the karma? Ajnanam. Understand that? Or Kama you can say. Because the progression is always what? Avidya, Kama, Karma. Now the karma is gone means what? Even that I am a Kami, that also is gone. And that I don't, and all this problem is coming because I didn't know my Surupa. So that Surupa Ajnanam also is gone. So Samula Unmulite. And also what he says, Prak Parokshamapi. So initially, when you listen to the Shastra, I said correct, many times you are listening as though it is about somebody else. It's not about anybody else, correct? It is about yourself. The Shastra is always talking about yourself. You have to see yourself in the light of what the Shastra is revealing. That's why we call it Shastra Darpanam also. The words of the Shastra are like a mirror. I cannot objectify myself, but I can still see myself in the words of the Shastra. So, that is what. But even there, what? Initially you think that even looking at your own image in the mirror, you can mistake it as somebody else, correct? It is some other thing, something objective. But then only you know that it is nothing but yourself. So initially it is paroksha, means it is indirect. Or you only know that, okay, Shastra is saying all these things. But is it true? Can it be true? Like that you can have, that is what is called Prameya Sambhavana, I said. So initially after Shravanam, also it is only paroksha. But then it has to become aparoksha. That is very important. So that is what is going to happen, he says here. Prak parokshamapi. Right now what? Karatala, Amalaka. It is like as though you are having the Amalaka. This Ullangai Nelikani in Tamil we say, or it must be there in other languages in India also, because I think this imagery is common. Maybe in Telugu also it is there, Bengali also it is there, I don't know, must be there. Hasta Amalaka we say. So Karatala, Amalaka. So as though this Amalaka fruit, the gooseberry is there in your hand, you are able to see it and experience it. Like that, the clarity is there. Basically, it is about the clarity. It is not to say that you are objectifying and seeing the Atma. That is impossible. The analogy is only to say that how clearly you know a gooseberry in your hand, like that you know your own Swarupa. Karatalamalakavat. What is that? Vakyam. So whatever is the Vakya, this is Shruti Vakya. See, the Vakya you cannot leave out. It is always the Mahavakya. Mahavakya Vichara, only the whole section is. So even here even though we talk about Samadhi and all that, it is not just Jada Samadhi or just you are trying to stop your mind. We are not even interested in that. Understand that. Yoga is about Chitta Vritti Nirodha. We are not talking about Vritti Nirodha as a goal. For us, the Akhanda Akara Vritti is the goal. And that Vritti has to be sustained in a manner where it transforms. In the process, you can attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi also. But that also has to be through this Vritti only has to lead you there. And even when you come out of that, the same Vritti has to continue. Then only you are a Jivan Mukta. That is what is talked about here. Vakyam, whatever the Shruti Vakya is there, the Mahavakya, which is revealing your truth, that has now become how? Apratibadha, means it is now without any hindrance, anything which stops this knowledge from being available to you, all that is gone. Any kind of pratibandha, any kind of hindrance or obstacle or something, some habitual tendency which actually doesn't allow you to enjoy the jnana phalam. Correct? The jnana means you should be able to enjoy the results of that knowledge. But like I said, it is not automatic. Some effort needs to be taken to make the knowledge always available to you. At least it should be available. It's not like you are always thinking about it, but it has to be always available. So, apratibadha, aparoksha sakshatkaram means now what? Previously, prak paroksham. Previously it was paroksha initially when you heard the Shastra, but now it is not like the Shastra is telling this about me. You know that aham brahmasmi. So that is a fact. That is your intimate anubhava, as we say. Here also the anubhava is not like some special experience or anything. It is your own knowledge. In that way we have to say, correct? You have to own it up. The knowledge which is now not like only the Guru is saying that, Shastra is saying that, all that is a problem. Or some people say, no, only big saints, this Mahapariva only can, or Ramana only can have this, how can I have, means then you don't even have to study Shastra, correct? That's not the idea here. In fact, they all should actually inspire you. Ramana also was a school boy. Mahapariva also was some school boy only. In fact, he didn't even have any Veda Adhyanam. He became a sannyasi straight away from some school only. Later on only he picked up everything, correct? If he can do that, why you cannot do it? That should be your thinking. So this is also a pratibandha, correct? Just thinking that no, how is it possible for me? They are all great people. That's not going to help you. They should inspire you so that you also become like that. That is the whole idea, not that you keep them in a pedestal and then say, I will do namaskara and then get up and go away. That's not the idea. So here, if you keep it like that, means it is only paroksha. I believe, okay, if Mahapariva says I will believe, if Ramana says I believe, means again knowledge is not about belief, correct? If I teach you something, if a scientist is saying E is equal to mc square, then you cannot say no, Einstein has said, means I will believe it. Means that's not knowledge. If you don't understand also, you have to make effort to understand how this equation is possible or how it has been derived, how the identity has been arrived at. You have to make effort to understand that. If somebody has proposed that, you can make an effort to understand it, correct? It should not be that difficult. So that is the idea here. You have to make it your knowledge. Then only it is aparoksham. Till then it is only paroksha. But you have to start like that. Nothing wrong. You start like that because that is the Shraddha. The Shraddha is that whatever these people say must be true. Then later on you discover that it is the truth. And then it is your own knowledge. That is the progression. That's what is shown here beautifully. Aparoksha sakshatkaram prasuyate means that is formed. The aparoksha sakshatkara is there now. Once you have done all this, then what? Tada jivan muktaha bhavati. So then you become Jivan Mukta. That person is called Jivan Mukta because who is a Jivan Mukta? One who enjoys the Jnana Phala. that person is a Jivan Mukta. Everybody is a Jnani. Whoever has undergone proper Shastra Shravana Manana Nididhyasana under a competent Guru has to be a Jnani. But when do you become a Jivan Mukta? When you have owned up to that knowledge, and that knowledge is always available to you and it has transformed your vision about yourself. That is the important point here. And that takes some time, as I told you. Okay, further what? Ishaha Panchikrita Bhutanam Apanchikaranam Kartum So Kamayata. Okay, now the Ulta. In fact, this is very interesting. Most Upanishads don't talk about the Pralaya part. So here what? Now this Upanishad not only talked about the initial Srishti, now it is talking the reverse. So it's now after, means see, each cycle of creation is to exhaust some karma. So once that all that karma is now going to get over, now Ishvara only desires to make the Panchikrita Bhuta back into Apanchikrita. Means you are now going in the reverse order for resolution or dissolution, you can say. We don't call it destruction and all that, because for us, as I said, even creation itself is only manifestation. So it is always manifestation, sustenance back into the potential form, which is the unmanifest. So Ishvara is now desiring to make the Panchikrita Bhutas into Apanchikrita Bhuta. So then what does he do then? Brahmanda Tadgata Lokan Karya Rupanscha Karanatvam Prapayitva Tataha Sukshmangam Karmendriyani Prananscha Jnanendriyani Antahkarana Chatushtayam Cha Ekikritya Sarvani Bhautikani Karane Bhuta Panchake Sanyojya. Okay, I'll stop here. It is a very big sentence. So Brahmanda Tadgata Loka means this entire Srishti is called Brahmanda. It is like a huge universe and all that, correct? And in that there are many lokas are there, correct? We talk about 14 lokas. So all those lokas and Karya Rupanscha means all the Shariras within them are all the Karya, correct? All the lokas, all the Jiva Sharira, whatever is there, all of them have to go into Karana Rupa. They have to go back into the causal state or the potential state. So in that what? Tataha Sukshmangam. So in this also what? Not only the physical body. So initially we talked about this Brahmanda, Loka and the physical bodies are all only Sthula. The Sthula Jagat and Sthula Shariras go back into their Karana form. But still then everything is there in a subtle form. Correct? The Sukshma is there. So now Sukshma also. Tataha Sukshmangam. So whatever is Sukshma or subtle, all the parts which are Sukshma, which are what? Karmendriyani, all the organs of action, prana itself, the Pancha Prana, then all the sense organs, Jnanendriyani, and Antahkarana Chatushtaya, the Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittam, all these things, they all become one. It's a Eki Kritya. And all the elementals, Sarvani, Bhautikani. Bhautikani means elementals. They go back into their original elements. Karane, they go back into their own causal form, which are the Panchabhutas, correct? The Tanmatras. So Bhuta Panchake Sanyojya means they all now go back into the 5 elements alone. And then what? And even them, one by one, the Bhuta Panchakas are now again resolving. How we'll continue? So Bhumim Jale Jalam Vanhau Vanhim Vayo Vayum Akashe Cha Akasham Ahankare Cha Ahankaram Mahati Mahad Avyakte Avyaktam Purushe Kramena Viliyate
viliyate.
So now this is the krama, very clear, correct? So the bhumi goes back into jala. Jala goes back into agni, agni into vayu, vayu into akasha, correct? Like that, it is now the reverse order. When we talked about Srishti, the krama was the other way, correct? Tasmat, etasmat, atmanaha, akasha sambhutaha, akashat vayu, vayor agnihi, agneraapaha, adhyaf prithvi. Now here the other way around. And then the akasha itself goes back into the ahankara, we said, correct? Ahankara, then ahankara is going back into mahat. And mahat goes back into avyakta. Now this means Mahapralaya has happened. Everything has gone back into the potential state. So avyaktam, like this, the avyakta is itself in the Purusha only, which is Brahman. So Purushe, Kramena, Viliyate, all of them resolve back into Brahman itself. So Brahman is the Jagat Karanam, not only Jagat Srishti Karanam. That's why Janmadhyasya Yataha, the sutra also is there. Or even Vat Yato Va Imani Bhuta Nijayante Ye Najata Nijivanti Yat Prayanti Abhisamvishanti. Now all three are important for us. See, some theologies only talk about God created the world. Then afterward world is there, correct? God is separate, world is separate. We are not saying that. We are saying Brahman is Jagat Srishti Karanam. Not only Srishti Karanam. Brahman is Jagat Sthiti Karanam also, correct? And Brahman is Jagat Laya Karanam. All three, it is the Karanam. That's why Janmadi Yasya. Not just Janma alone. It is Janma Sthiti Laya. So we always talk about it like that only. Same thing here. We now see that the Brahman itself is the Laya Karanam because everything goes back into the same Brahman, into the potential state. And now, in fact, even the words, whatever we gave the words, correct, Virat, Hiranyagarbha and all that also is going to resolve. So he says, Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Ishvaraha, Upadhi Vilayat, Paramatmani Liyante. So even the Virat means, we said the one who identifies with the gross universe is called Virat. Now that Virat also is only an Upadhi, correct? It's only a conditioning factor. Then the Hiranyagarbha is the subtle world, we say, the totality of all the Sukshma Shariras, and then Ishvara is the Karana. Now all these three are also what? Their Upadhis are also now gone back into potential state. So Upadhi Vilayat, Paramatmani Liyante means Param Brahma. Here Paramatma and Param Brahma are one and the same. They all go back into this Atma. So from all these things, what do we understand? That I am not separate from this Brahman. That's why Paramatma, see the words and all, the Upanishad uses interchangeably. It starts with Param Brahma, Ekameva, Advitiyam and all that, but during Laya it says everything has gone into Paramatma. Even there you have to see, there itself there is a teaching is there. So Paramatmani Liyante. Then what? Andam, Jnana Ninadaktham,
Panchīkrita Mahabhutam. Anganda varnam. Panchīkrita Mahabhutam.
Oh, okay. Upadhi Vilayat. Okay, I left something. Okay. Panchīkrita Mahabhuta.
Panchīkrita Mahabhuta.
Sambhava. Karma Sanchita. Stula Deha. Karma Kshayat. Satkarma Paripakataha. Panchikaranam Prapya. Sukshmene Eki Bhutva. Karana Rupatvam Asadhya. Tat Karanam Utasthe Pratyagatmani Viliyate. Okay, now the beauty of this Upanishad is previously what we have talked about is at the Samashti, correct? We are talking about the Pralaya at the Samashti and then everything has resolved into Paramatma. Now what about me? The Vyashti, the individual. So individual level also, this Jnanena you have to do this pravilapana, what we call. In your understanding, everything has to be resolved, and then whatever is remaining is only the pratyagatma, the inner self, which is of the nature of consciousness, that alone is there. And that resolves back into yourself. Therefore, the pratyagatma and paramatma are one and the same. So even in the laya it is shown. So previously, the paramatma, everything has resolved into paramatma from the standpoint of the total. Now what from the Vyashti standpoint, what Panchikrita Mahabhuta Sambhava Karma Sanchita Stula Deha. So the Stula Deha, the physical body is, what is that? That big compound is simply saying that it is, the physical body also has come from only the Pancha Mahabhutas. The physical body is an elemental that way. So it has come from that, and even that why, or on what basis it has come? Because of the whatever karma which you have accumulated. So karma sanchita is the stula deha. That is why it is called karya. And then what? Because of the karma is gone. Now here karma is gone not because that you have actually experienced and exhausted. No, it is because of jnana. Jnana agni sarva karmani vasmasat kurute arjuna, and all that is said, correct? Or even in the Vidyate hridaya grantihi chidyante sarva samshayaha shiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Like that the Mundaka Upanishad also says, means all your doubts are gone. Okay, it is all and your whatever the knots which are tying you down, the knots of ignorance, they are all cut asunder, broken. You are broken free of all your limitations. Vidyate hridaya grantihi chidyante sarva samshayaha. All doubts are all gone, they are all destroyed, and then what? All karma also is, they are all destroyed. Shiyante cha asya karmani, when tasmin drishte paravare. So that when you have seen this, entire city is nothing, the para and avara, whatever you may think as great or whatever, higher and lower, etc., like that, in everything is only one Paramatma, one Brahman or one Atma. Once you have seen that, all karma is gone because you are no more a karta. So that is the point here. So for a jnani, the karma kshaya is only due to this jnana itself. So karma kshayat, or if for ajnani you have to say whatever karma they have to undergo in this life or in this cycle of creation, because understand this, within a particular cycle of creation, the Stula Sharira keeps on dying, correct? But the Sukshma Sharira continues. That's what we say. But Sukshma Sharira also, when the particular cycle of creation's karma is exhausted, then it has to go back into Karana, the Karana Sthiti, the Pralaya and all that. So from a Vyashti standpoint also, you can take like that also. Why? Because it says karma kshayat, but how that kshaya is happening is not said here. For jnani it is different, for ajnani it is different. So karma kshayat satkarma paripakataha apanchikaranam prapya. So due to the satkarma which is now fructifying, you go into lina. Apanchikaranam prapya means all the whatever is this divided into different or mixed up things also now become one. You become the tanmatra. And even then what? Sukshmena eki bhutva. Also everything becomes one in the subtle body. And that also resolves back into the karana sharira. Karana rupatvam asadhya. Tat karanam kutasthe. And what is the karana finally? That which is there within you. Now the kutastha is another word which is used for atma. Or the pratyagatma, the inner self as we say it. Why that word is used? Because kuta means the anvil. In the blacksmith shop, you have one piece of iron, correct? In which he keeps everything else and he is hitting them and all, whatever you do. So our mechanical engineers and all, they have done a lot of smithy. Even we did engineering, the first year engineering, one of the worst thing is the workshop. All of us have to go to all this carpentry and then blacksmithy, all these things used to be a big thing. So anyway, the anvil never changes, correct? Basically, the anvil is there in the smithy shop, Everything else is kept on the anvil and you hit it and all that and you shape different things. The anvil remains as it is. That is why it is kutes taha, means it is there as it is without any change, the invariable. So even in the whatever all the cognitions which we are having here, what do we say? The Atma is the invariable, correct? In fact, Atma has to be invariable but because you cannot otherwise cognize any change. The very fact that you are able to cognize change tells you that there has to be an invariable which is cognizing the change. Otherwise you cannot. In fact, this is one of the arguments we give against the Buddhist. The Buddhist is saying that Vijnanam is Kshanikam. We also accept it. The Vritti Jnanam is Kshanikam, correct? The Manovritti is transitory. But that doesn't mean that that is the only kind of Vijnanam which is there. We say that there is also a Swarupa Jnana. See, most of the other darshanas do not recognize that there is a Swarupa Jnanam which is separate from Vritti Jnana. Even the Vishishtadvaitins and all say that Jnanam is actually a Visheshana of Paramatma and all that, which is very weird. They also actually only recognize Vritti Jnana. So that is the problem here. They don't understand that there is a Swarupa Jnanam, which is consciousness as it is. Its very nature is that which never goes away. Okay? It is as it is always. It is shining. In its presence only everything is happening. So that Swarupa Jnanam is the Kutastha, means it is unchanging reality and you can negate everything else as changing. But the negator can never be negated because the negator is the invariable in each and every negation also. Understand that? So that's what we are saying. The negator can never be negated and the negator Swarupa also can never be negated. Therefore it is Satyam. That is the only reality. Everything else you can say I can negate. So the definition of truth itself we are giving that, correct? Because many people have, even modern Vedanta or some philosopher will come and say you can never even define truth. No, we don't accept that. We can define very well the truth. If possible, you try to break that definition, correct? We say that that which can never be negated is the truth. That is the definition itself. How can you then break it? You cannot. Then the other objection is what? There is nothing like that. You can give a definition, but is there a vastu like that? Even there we say the negator can never be negated. That is our answer. Understand that? So here, so once all these things are also gone, what is there is Kutaste Pratyegatmani Viliyate. So everything goes back into this Pratyegatma. This is the Vyashti. So Samashti, Vyashti, both we have now talked about the Laya. And even here also again what? Vishwa Taijasa, Prajnaha, Swa Upadhi Layat, Pratyegatmani Liyante. So there we saw Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara. Here Vishwa Taijasa and Prajna. So the waker, dreamer and whoever is deep sleeper, all of them also they resolve back into their Upadhi. And that goes back into the Pratyegatma itself. It all resolves back into the inner self. Andam Jnanagnina Daktham Karanaihi Saha Paramatmani Linam Bhavati. So here in fact like what I said, this entire world is destroyed by for the Jnani Jnanagnina Daktham. And because of that what? Everything resolves back into the Karana, which is the Paramatma. That alone is there. Nothing else is there. So rest of the things we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.